And we're back. Welcome. Welcome. Hey, first of all, before we even get to the show, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm aware that there are people that are confused by the fact that I'm at the couch, the producers and writers are at the table. If you have another arrangement of bodies, pitch it.
Yeah, tell us how you want our bodies.
I'm here with Sarah, Brian, Hallie.
Hi.
You could lay across it like a grand piano.
Kendra's on assignment.
We don't know where.
We genuinely don't know.
She won't tell us.
Nor should she.
I'm not that curious,
It's none of
honestly.
my business.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. What a weekday. Nice. A super PAC supporting RFK Jr.'s presidential bid spent $7 million to run a Superbowl ad that closely resembled an ad for John F. Kennedy's campaign during his 1960 run, including its famous jingle.
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
Nice.
I love
Of
that
course,
song.
It's great. Of course, one big difference between JFK and RFK Jr. is that JFK had a brain, and we know that for a fact. We've seen it.
Start off hot this week.
I like that.
It's a great joke, but to start off with it.
Yeah.
No, it's a tough way in for sure. We were talking about this before the show that, like, man, that's what politics used to be. You just say your name over and over again with pictures of yourself.
Biden him, Biden him, Biden him,
They should
Biden
make
him,
an
Biden
ad
him, and he
like that.
wins.
But I do think we really need to stress the point, like, that back then he was the hottest man that a lot of people had ever seen. Like, people saw him, they're like, good Lord, men could look like that? He's got my vote. It's like the fact.
And you're saying that's not the case for Joe Biden?
Oh, no, for me, absolutely. But it's so hard. They're all so hot. That's my problem.
That's a good point.
Kennedy family members, including Bobby Shriver, publicly objected to the ad, and RFK Jr. apologized, saying, "Bobby, I'm so sorry if that advertisement caused you pain. The ad was created and aired by the American Value Super PAC without any involvement or approvals from my campaign. Federal rules prohibit Super PACs from consulting with me or my staff. I send you and your family my sincerest apologies. God bless you." One problem, at the time of this recording, the offending ad is still RFK Jr.'s pinned tweet on X. Hey, I had no involvement or approval in this, but to be clear, I love it and think it rocks.
It's also like, I'm sorry to your family, and it's also my family, and I'm sorry to my family also.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure everyone has seen this thing that I'm apologizing for, just so the apology makes sense. I just want to make sure everyone's seen it.
$7 million. $7 million.
What does a 30-second ad on this show cost?
It's not $7 million.
Shoot.
You could buy that bookstore in Pasadena for less than that.
Damn.
That's true. $6 million. So there's a bookstore in Pasadena that's for
You're
sale
trying
for
to buy?
$6 million.
There
I'm
is?
trying to buy it. Yeah.
Wow. Think about the difference in the value of a bookshop that exists for well more than 30
It's
seconds.
an anchor in the community.
And it's filled with books. Those books come with it. Mm-hmm. I assume.
They do.
They must.
I
They
reached
must.
out.
What?
I reached out.
You reached out about buying a bookstore in Pasadena?
Yeah. Do you want to see the email?
Okay.
Maybe later.
Yeah, not right now.
Should we set up a GoFundMe so we can buy this bookstore?
Let's
Yeah.
do it. What else
Yeah.
are we doing? Oh, wait, sorry, this.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, speaking of crackpots appealing to right-wingers nostalgic for the Cold War, at a rally in South Carolina on Saturday, Donald Trump said that he would encourage Russia to do whatever the hell they want to a NATO ally that hadn't spent enough on defense.
You didn't pay, you're delinquent. He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay.
Trump talks about America's allies like someone who's been in therapy and become a worse person as a result. I actually don't owe my friends anything. Oh, you've been attacked by Russia? Please don't trauma dump that on me. President Biden called Trump's NATO comments appalling and dangerous, saying in a Sunday statement, "If my opponent, Donald Trump, is able to regain power, he is making it clear as day that he will abandon our NATO allies if Russia attacks." We're talking about membership dues here. It's like if you missed a rent payment and Donald Trump released a Wolverine into your house, or to make it more salient to Trump's defenders, a trans Wolverine into your house. If I ever build a time machine, and I will, my first stop is Philadelphia, 1787. I'll bring with me a TV and a VHS copy of Air Bud, and we're going to write down every conceivable fucked up thing a president could do so this shit never happens again. And we're turning some of those commas into periods and cutting a few dependent clauses while we're at it. A couple lead poison beer brewers included in a side about a militias, and now you can bring a gun to Buffalo Wild Wings. That's stupid.
That is stupid.
Also, those S's that look like F's.
Yeah, get him out of there.
Get them out of there.
That's your first stop if you have a time machine?
Yeah, that's what I said. That's my first stop.
When I say with a time machine, you just go back in time. Doesn't really matter which one you do first. It's
What's
all
your first stop, Brian?
What is my first stop?
Is that kill Hitler? I thought that's what you were going for.
What did you say?
Kill Hitler?
I thought you said Hillary. And I was like, no.
No, that's the second stop and all part of my
I'm with her,
plan.
but not how she wants it.
No, I kill Hitler and then I let Hillary kill me. God, I've sent you the plan already.
I know. I didn't open it.
Damn it.
NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg also hit back at Trump in a Sunday statement saying any suggestion that allies will not defend each other undermines all of our security, including that of the U.S., and puts American and European soldiers at increased risk. It takes some real talent to freak out this many countries at once. How many American presidential candidates have made Montenegro shit bricks? Just one. And it's the guy that confuses it with Monaco. Nikki Haley condemned Trump on Face the Nation, saying,
Don't take the side of a thug who kills his opponents. Don't take the side of someone who has gone in and invaded a country and 500,000 people have died or been wounded because of Putin. Don't take the side of someone who continues to lie. I dealt with Russia every day. The last thing we ever want to do is side with Russia.
Of course, she dealt with Russia while working in the administration of the same man she now admits is completely unfit, who was just as unfit then as he is now, and she seemed to have no problem with it at that time. But we can talk about that when she's not losing to none of the above. Other Republicans, shockingly, haven't been so critical. Senator Lindsey Graham told reporters, "Give me a break. I mean, it's Trump. All I can say is while Trump was president, nobody invaded anybody." Which is not true, obviously. I think the point here is to, in his way, get people to pay. Republicans are a wife at a country club dinner, perpetually one Klonopin and 2 glasses of wine deep, explaining how her husband is just a little rough around the edges after he called a middle-aged server honey while waving a piece of steak at her, saying, "Does this look medium rare to you?"
Are you watching a Feud?
No.
It's very that.
Okay. Marco Rubio said on CNN's State of the Union that he has zero concern.
He doesn't talk like a traditional politician. He told the story about how he used leverage to get people to step up to the plate and become more active in NATO. I have zero concern because he's been president before. I know exactly what he has done and will do with the NATO alliance.
He doesn't talk like a traditional politician, you guys. He talks like a ventriloquist dummy the devil brought to life in the Twilight Zone, which is why I, Marco Rubio, think he should be president of the United States. He's not some pointy-headed intellectual. That's the thing about Donald Trump. I mean, I don't know if you thought that he was.
I did.
But he's not.
Okay.
I don't know what you're all so worried about. He was president for 4 years, and even though he threatened to pull us out of NATO on a near constant basis, began a troop withdrawal from Germany, lied about and mismanaged one of the biggest public health emergencies in human history, celebrated when children were ripped from their parents' arms at the border, hundreds of whom were never reunited, tore at the social fabric and pushed the country into a state of permanent agitation and discussion, led his CPAP shock troops to storm the Capitol. It was fine. Nothing that bad happened to me.
Can I ask you a question? Because I'm not a savvy political operator like
Sure.
you. Why would he go on TV and do if he didn't talk, no one would be like, what does Marco Rubio think? So what does he gain by doing this?
I really don't know. I actually find it confusing. I don't know what his goal was in going on the show. I also don't know why. I understand why he decided to endorse Donald Trump. I think it was just before the Iowa caucus, because if you're not doing it early, you're not doing late, and if you're going to do it anyway, get the credit for having done it. I don't understand his motivations.
Yeah,
I
get endorsing him, but you don't have to vocally rubber stamp everything. Like, he's not keeping track.
Does he want to be vice president?
I mean, yeah, that's the only other thing.
I think he thinks of himself as being on the vice presidential shortlist, so he's
He
putting him
probably
out there
is.
as a defender.
Little Marco?
Is this true that the president and vice president can't be from the same state?
Yes. So it's very true, and it's pretty clear cut, and they're both from Florida, so that's a huge problem. But
is it residency or from?
I think you can't be citizens of the same.
But you can't file taxes in the same
you can't
state?
be from the same
Okay.
states, and so, look, the insurrection clause is also, I think, pretty straightforward. Though I had my qualms about that, but maybe there's some way they think he can get around it. But yeah, I think he wants to be vice president. I also think he's probably on some level convinced himself of this, right? Like, oh, this is the media going wild again. He's telling a story about something he claims to have said years ago, so it doesn't really change anything. This is who he is. He's in a kind of boorish way making the point that he wants European countries to spend more on NATO. And Trump clearly did some cleanup of this, because somebody in his campaign gave him a cattle prod and he did a Truth Social saying, "I want NATO to be strong," some version of that. Anyway, the Kremlin declined to address Trump's remarks, with Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov telling reporters, "I am still Putin's press secretary, but not Trump's." Continued Peskov, "Also, I believe that Harry and David's gift basket we sent him speaks louder than words." Speaking of weak defenses, the fallout has continued since Special Counsel Robert Hur released his nearly 400-page report. We're doing great.
Yeah.
I'm having fun.
I'm crying, but it's the sty.
That while President Biden should not be charged for possessing classified documents after he left the White House in 2017, he should have a very, very shitty weekend dealing with the conclusions in the report. For example, Hur writes, "We have also considered that at trial, Mr. Biden would likely present himself to a jury, as he did during our interview of him, as a sympathetic, well-meaning, elderly man with a poor memory." "Hey, these sound like insults," cried President Biden. White House officials and the president's allies leapt to defend him to the press, calling the report a partisan hit job. Biden also defended himself, but it was less of a leap and more of a kind of careful rise. President Biden lost his temper after one reporter asked a pointed question.
Many American people have been watching, and they have expressed concerns about your age.
That is your judgment. That is your judgment.
Oh, you look so spry.
I love to see Biden aggressively fighting back against the report's accusation that he's sympathetic and well-meaning. Now, on to the age one.
Is it a finger wag if you do it at this pace?
Yeah, sure. It just works different muscles. You do them slow, then fast, then slow. You know?
Yeah.
Said Vice President Kamala Harris on Friday, "The way the president's demeanor in that report was characterized could not be more wrong on the facts and clearly politically motivated. Gratuitous." Continued Harris, "Unless this looks bad enough to kick him off the ticket, and then I have a story about him forgetting what 9/11 was that'll make your blood run ice cold."
Oh, the shit she must have heard.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe she doesn't remember, though.
Oh,
She
no.
doesn't remember.
I have
both...
to believe her inner monologue is so loud that she really can't hear what's going on.
Oh yeah, it's a jet engine in there, 24/7.
Kamala.
What is the line from the song? Like, old enough to know and young enough to do.
Yeah.
Kamala. Kamala. On Monday, Biden alluded to the report with a joke about his age and memory at a White House event for the National Association of Counties.
I know I don't look like it, but I've been around a while. I do remember that.
The one thing he does remember, death is just around the corner.
National Association of Counties.
I know, like, just so many organizations, so many associations.
That's just what the country is.
The National Association of Counties. Yeah, that's what America is, in a sense, a National Association of Counties. National Association of Counties, like, as a speechwriter, there are just these events that you have to do speeches for when the mayors come to town, or the National Association of Counties, or, those kinds of events. And
The big NACO speech.
And it's just like there's some part of it where you're doing whatever message you're doing, and then there's a part where you have to say some version of the same thing you say, which is, as leaders at the county level, you understand this because you're where the rubber meets the road. Mm-hmm. When you're working at the county level, you know that you can't hide from the problems that your constituents face every single day. You can't hide when the snow needs to be cleared and the garbage needs to be picked up. You understand what's going on the ground. That's why I so value the relationship I have with America's county executives.
But isn't that like the one thing? If I worked for the county, I'd be like, "Thank you for saying that." This is actually very hard. The snow is a huge problem. Like,
sure.
it is. Like, it is hard. Yeah.
They need it. They need it.
Everyone needs a pep talk from the president to them once in their lifetime.
I like whenever we hit the road and like someone is like on their like school board or like their county seat and they're like, "The week I've had, man."
Yeah, of course.
Like, I've been in so many meetings about this railway and it's not going anywhere. What do you recommend? And you're like, "I don't know. I have a podcast."
Yeah. It's like, don't ask me. What's your high note? Don't say it's coming to the show. Let me just also take a moment to remind everyone that the fact that Los Angeles is one of the nation's biggest cities in the nation's largest county is completely stupid. And we should not have a city with 5 million people as part of a county with 10 million people. That organizational structure makes absolutely no sense. And Ohio has roughly the same number of people as Los Angeles County. And Ohio has a governor, a legislature. And Los Angeles has a board of supervisors of like 5 people making decisions like a star chamber. And I'm not a fan of that.
Okay.
LA too big.
LA too big.
LA too big.
Important.
Anyway, death is just around the corner.
Yeah.
And thank God.
Which is why we should all live like there's no tomorrow and play like Taylor is watching. This Sunday, the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl. beating the San Francisco
almost got that
49ers.
When you hit Super Bowl,
first
your
time you
mouth
said
said,
any of
I
those
don't know
words.
what is coming out.
49. It's 49ers. 49ers. 25 to 22. They won 25 to 22 in overtime. You know that draft of a speech for Nixon to deliver if the astronauts died on the moon? I wonder how long we'll have to wait for the National Archives to release the statement Taylor would have made breaking up with Travis if he hadn't brought home the trophy. To be read, it just says on the top, to be read in the event of football disaster. That's what the speech says at the top, right? To be read in the event of moon
I
disaster.
think it's called An Event of Moon Disaster.
An
the
event
title.
of
incredible.
moon disaster.
Yeah.
You got to use a little code.
It's so beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's also very specific. We were looking at it before this record, and I forgot that it is a specific draft of a speech that is not about what would happen if the mission failed completely, but specifically what would happen if Michael Collins was alive
Oh, no.
in orbit and Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin died on the surface. It is
yeah, so they
specifically
couldn't
about
get the lander to take off.
right. If the lander couldn't get them back off and they were slowly running out of oxygen while on the moon's surface.
Did they
This was a
decide of all
speech.
the ways that could go wrong, that was the most likely one?
I feel like it was one that they wanted to be prepared for because it was one in which the world would be watching and aware that these two men were going to die before they were dead. And it is, I have to say, the most beautiful text ever written to describe slowly running out of air and then becoming a frozen husk while on the surface of our only moon.
It's not like the submersible.
It's not like the submersible. But in the end, in the reality, the submersible just went.
Yeah. I would have liked a speech about it, though.
It's not too late.
You're right.
In the
Never too
event
late.
of submersible disaster. I'm glad the whole world wasn't like watching the
Yeah, big
submersible
time.
unfold like it was the moon landing, because it was not.
It does feel like they picked that scenario because they're like, what would be the biggest bummer? We should at least have that prepared. Like the one that's like, oh, that would be bad. We'll just prepare that.
Also, if cameras were on the submersible, the world would have been watching.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But
Luckily, they didn't work. If there were, I'm sure they would be. Control like a dimmer switch or something.
It's like the high note voicemail. It's like, how do we get here?
yes, the world tuned in not only to enjoy the game, but to watch America's sweetheart Taylor Swift cheer on her man, Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. When asked what he plans to do after the game, Kelce told reporters, "I'm going to Disneyland right after my debrief at the Pentagon." Ahead of the game, conservatives whipped themselves into a frenzy for weeks, calling T Swift a psyop, presumably to get President Biden reelected in the fall. The rumors rose to such a fever pitch, Deputy Pentagon Press Secretary Sabrina Singh had to address them publicly, telling Politico, "We know all too well the dangers of conspiracy theories, so to set the record straight, Taylor Swift is not part of a DoD psychological operation." The Pentagon continued, "There was nothing psychological about her mission to kill Antonin Scalia. Pure wet works." After the win, Taylor and Travis ran into each other's arms and smooched on the sidelines.
I know we want to talk about football right now, but as I look at Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, we've been talking about the relationship all year long.
And that's love.
No, it's Kels.
And that's Kels.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Yeah.
Is?
It's Kels.
It's not Travis Kelce?
Nope.
It's Travis
It's
Kelce?
too late. It's too late now.
Yeah, you're right.
Meanwhile, the Biden campaign riffed on the conspiracy theory, tweeting a photo of Dark Brandon with the caption, "Just like we drew it up." It's strange to think that the conspiracy theorists believe that Joe Biden is an all-powerful string puller in complete and total command of every facet of our society, except politics. He's running juries in Manhattan, he's controlling who wins the Super Bowl, but he can't pass a border bill. In perhaps the weirdest commercial of the night, a group called He Gets Us ran a spot about Jesus and foot washing.
Worlds collided, and they could never tear us apart.
"Wow, I'm going to convert to Christianity," said a fully erect Quentin Tarantino. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Tom Brady, and J-Lo appeared in a Dunkin' ad in which the Boston Boys form a boy band called Dun Kings.
Don't go away, my heart. Why you dunking me, girl? Why you dunking? Dun Kings, my heart.
How do you like them donuts? I'm so sorry.
Time to park the car in the garage, close the door, and run the motor.
And I was like, we used to have stars in this town.
And finally, the skincare brand CeraVe ran an ad featuring an endorsement from Michael Cera, finally resolving the mystery of why Cera was spotted hauling around giant bags of lotion. The giant bags of lotion were for an ad, and not, as many assumed, for compulsive masturbation. We've done it again. Do you guys see Usher?
Yeah.
I thought Usher was great.
Take off your shirt in front of 120 million people.
I
That's
mean,
cool.
Wow.
That's cool.
Like just
He's 45.
45. I went through and just was like, let's check everybody's ages. Let's just find out what we're working with here. Usher, 45. Alicia Keys, 43. Is Little John? Yeah. I think he was like, he's in his 50s. I was like, this is what I want. This is.
Oh yeah, we
just-
can get you up there. Absolutely, we can get you up there.
what I want to see.
Yeah.
For the record, what I want to see.
You want to do a live podcast halftime show?
Just the
Hell
hot.
yeah.
Yes, that's what I want.
Where you
Yeah,
go
that's
like-
what, yeah, that's an. It's like it's so funny. It's like Usher can pull off taking off a shirt. I can't pull off having clothes on. But I love seeing hot people in their 40s
Me too.
being hot.
Hey, it's
It's
gonna
inspirational.
happen. Yeah.
And Usher got married after the game.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What a cool day for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll do that too. Don't worry.
What? Why has this been turned? I didn't say anything about wanting it to be me.
Yeah, we all read
will
between
one
the
day.
lines.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
No, I think you can.
This sucks.
When you're like 80, we can get you there.
When you're 45.
And that's our show. Thank you to Sarah. Thank you to Hallie. Thank you to Brian.
Bye, sluts.
See you sluts on Saturday.